This is a kind of a general question, but is Kirby Smart a better coach now than he was in the past? And the reason I'm bringing that up is, watching the national championship game last night for Carolina and Kansas. No, I still have not gotten a chance to watch Georgia's national championship game on television. I've seen snippets here and there, but in watching the game, there was a lot to learn, I think, about coaching and um, when to do particular things and how to adjust. I think Kirby has become a better coach. I think he is being a coach is one aspect of running a program. I think he's definitely doing a better job, almost than anybody in the country, running a program. And I'll talk about that in a little bit. I'm going to be at Red Zone on Friday and Saturday of G Day. Make sure you're there. You can pick up a copy of DAWGSTRUCTION there if you want to see it live. Um, or, you can order it down below. We are still running the promotion that if you sign up right now and get the book this week before midnight on Saturday, you have the capability of winning the one that has Stetson's signature on it. So make sure you're taking advantage of that. The link's down below. And I'll be at Red Zone Friday and Saturday of G Day. It's on Clayton Street. Do you remember the 2016 season? I remember it very clearly. And Kirby I would say, has grown pretty noticeably as a coach in terms of execution from his team. And really not just that, but really on the game management side, that has really picked up quite a bit. And I think last night you saw the difference between a coach and Bill Self, who has been a head coach for some time, and Hubert Davis, who was in his first Final Four and is in his first season coaching. And to me, the parallels were pretty similar. Bill Self's been at Kansas for a long time now, 15 years, something like that. And obviously, with Hubert Davis being in his first year at Carolina, I think you notice the difference in the coaching styles in the second half. And second half's when you win games. I had someone who I talk a lot with about sports and business and everything texted me at half saying, "Man, 15, I don't know." I said, "15's not that much. You can definitely come back from 15." They came back from 15 and more because they adjusted. I think that, you know, to me, Carolina could have called a timeout maybe near the beginning of the first half, and that would have helped slow down the Kansas run. I mean, if they cut it to 9, that's one thing. Maybe you get a timeout if they cut it to 7, because seven's still a long way to go, right? I mean, momentum is a real killer, and we saw that go against Georgia in their time uh, in 2017 when they were playing Alabama. That really killed them in the second. It's in the second half, the third and fourth quarter. And when they played Alabama in 2021, the first Alabama game, the second quarter, the momentum absolutely killed Georgia. Now, unlike a basketball game uh, where you're going back and forth in football, it's hard to call timeouts to stop momentum of a game. You can stop the momentum of a drive. But I do think Kirby has handled all of these things better. There's still, I certainly criticize Kirby plenty. There are things that he does that I think he could do better. But I think the question, has he become a better coach? I think he has. And I think his handling of quarterbacks has been the number one question mark. But after this past season, winning the national championship, where your move at quarterback turned out to be, I mean, it turned out to win the national championship. I'm assuming that means it's the right move. It's hard to argue with his success on that front. That doesn't mean he won't make mistakes. That doesn't mean he won't make mistakes in the future. It also doesn't mean that we know what would have happened if JT Daniels had been in the game. We don't know what we don't know, right? We can't prove the negative. But I do think that um, when I think back to his time in 17, and honestly, some of his handling of Justin Fields at 18, um, the way he handled it with the press was wrong, and it caused confusion. And I remember after the Tennessee game, him saying to Chip Towers, we were all there. I don't know if where Chip was related to me. He typically sits on the front row, and I typically sit on the front row. And I think Kirby's answer to Chip was, "The plan is there is no plan." Well, you know that's bullshit. I mean, Kirby has a plan for everything. But when he did that, that one answer really people took off with it and took it from there. Um, and we're talking about someone who's extremely disciplined with their messaging. But that one moment hurt him, and I don't think he didn't make that mistake this year. I mean, he didn't talk about that at all. And so that's ways he's grown. I think that because messaging does matter. It's something. I mean, we can't see practice. We don't know what's going on, so we're having to take Kirby's word for it. And I mean, typically the proof is in the pudding. You're seeing what he's doing with his program. I mean, they just won the national championship. It's not like it's nothing, and they should win the national championship. I mean, they just should. That Georgia, LSU, Alabama, these teams should win national championships. Florida. They should win national championships. But this year, he didn't make the mistake of the mistakes he's made in the past. It's also really tricky. You know, I'm close with my coach from college, and he grew over time too. And just because something was incorrect in 2016 doesn't mean it's wrong in 2022. You know, there were a lot of challenges for Kirby at the start of that thing. He did not inherit a program that was listless and sucking for air. It wasn't, I mean, it was a 10-win team that he inherited, a team that won a New Year's Day bowl game. It wasn't a New Year's Six, but it was a New Year's bowl game. And he took that and within 20 games had it as the number one team in the country. I think it was 20 games, somewhere in that ballpark. Um, and from that point forward, he's been one of the elite teams in the country. The question is, will he become a better coach in 2023, 2022, 2024, and beyond than he was in 2021? Because that's the real question for everybody that in any job. You know, are you better today than you were yesterday? Some days, a dog post, we are. There are plenty of days when we're not. And for Kirby, you know, winning a national championship um, is no longer it was never unthinkable for plenty of us. Again, Georgia should win national championships, and not just in football. But um, will he become a better coach over time? We don't know. He certainly has a lot of admirers in professional football and collegiate football. There's a lot of what's the word? Professional development that he does and takes on. He does a very good job with that, it seems. He has an extremely large Rolodex, but this has really become a three-way fight right now between Georgia, Alabama, those two for sure, and then Ohio State, I think, probably. Now, what the future will hold with the consolidation of power inside of the SEC, we don't know. What will happen with the future of the playoff, we can't know that. That could really change things. I think NIL really hurt Clemson. I think the transfer portal, I consistently say that wrong. The transfer portal has hurt Clemson too. Um, I don't know if though Georgia's absorbed those things. I don't think they've necessarily hurt Georgia, but we won't know what the future will be until the future gets here. But that's the challenge. You know, I talked a minute ago about how 2016, what was correct in 2016 doesn't necessarily mean it's right in 2022, and that it was wrong in 2016 doesn't mean it was right in 2022. You know, you get my point. Um, it's just this is a challenging thing, and I don't get the impression that Kirby is saying, "Oh well, we won the national championship. That's what I came here to do. We're done with that now." No, he really should. He should win multiple national championships at Georgia. He should. He is. He should go down. This is the challenge for Kirby. If no one else is challenging him, I will. He should go down. He should go down as the greatest coach in Georgia history. He should go down as the greatest coach in the SEC this decade. This decade. And he should make a run for being a top 10 or 15 coach all time in college football. Yeah, that's a lot of pressure. But two things. Number one, that's what the money's for. Number two, you're at Georgia. You know, that's the other thing about Carolina last night. They did not win the national championship. But if they had, that'd have been the third coach in my lifetime that had won a national championship at North Carolina. North Carolina should win national championships. They should. Kansas should too. Um, Kansas a lot more like Georgia than you would think. I mean, they've only won 4 national championships in their lifetime, in their history, and they're a blue blood. But you get the feeling that they should win more than they do, and that's what I feel like Georgia's like. I think I mean, Carolina's won 6, Kansas won 4. Um, I do think too that college football could be a little bit more like college basketball in the future, in that you're going to see fewer and fewer teams really with a chance to win it, which means Georgia be one of them, which give Georgia a better chance to win it. But that's another story for another day. Has Kirby gotten better? You tell me. You let me know down below. And while you're down there, check out DAWGSTRUCTION and get that link. We'll see you on the website. Thanks for watching.